Minnesotans have been able to vote early for 5 days now, and that has brought plenty of good questions to our inbox. Heather Brown reached out to election experts to find answers on everything from how ballots are counted to what happens if a candidate dies.
Let's start with the most common question. If you applied for an absentee ballot, can you still vote in person? Yes. If you didn't return the ballot, just go in and vote. When you vote in person, election workers there make sure that you haven't already voted absentee. Connie from Blaine wants to know, what if I only vote for 1 or 2 offices and leave the others blank? Well, those votes get counted. The machines will tabulate all the votes that are cast. Darlene and Mary are asking about a terrible scenario, but unfortunately it's one that we know well. And that's if I vote early, what happens to my ballot if a candidate dies?
Senator Paul Wellstone aboard a small plane that crashed.
Well, back in 2002, when Senator Wellstone died, voters were given a supplemental ballot on Election Day. Since then, the law has changed. Now, for any partisan election in Minnesota, except for president, that race doesn't get counted, and there would be a special election for that seat in February. But if a presidential candidate dies, it's a lot more complicated. And that's because all the state laws are different on this topic and because you're electing electors, not the candidate themselves. Here in Minnesota, our state law does not allow for any substitutions on the ballot. So even if the parties chose a new presidential candidate, we here couldn't change the ballot, and those votes would be counted. Election law experts tell me they'd expect a lot of lawsuits to be filed, and that this is unsettled law that would likely be decided in the courts, so it's hard to predict what would happen. And Beverly from Plymouth asks, when are the absentee ballots counted? Well, right now, they're stored under lock and key, and 2 weeks before Election Day, election workers will begin processing those votes, even putting them through the machines. But it won't be until election night that, as one county elections director told me, that they turn the key and get that final tally. Heather Brown, WCCO 4 News.
And you can actually track your ballot all along the process on the Minnesota Secretary of State's website.